Hello, welcome to Mart's garage. Hang on just a sec. That's better. Welcome to Mart's garage. Come see what I've been up to. I'm terrible for deciding what to do about paint and patina and stuff like that. But what I think I'm going to do is clean off all along the insides of the rails, down there in that V down there at the bottom, along here and here. The metal is quite good, to be honest, in most places. And what I thought I would do is clean down there and try and clean in there and clean along here. This is loose actually, the crossmember is loose, that can come out. So I'll clean along the insides of the channel and I'll paint those just to protect them, and I'll paint the rear crossmember as well. And anything I'm not sure of, I'll leave. What I might do is kind of paint the top where I know the body's going to be bolted on. So I'll paint down to kind of there, from the back down to about here. Is it somewhere? Oh, I'm not sure. Hang on. Yeah, to about here, I think. I'll paint this all the way along. And then I'll leave the outside as it is. And then at least I know that once it's built up, all the inner parts are protected. When you consider it might be running on the beach at Pendine, you don't want to leave it completely unprotected. I'll get on with it. You don't need to see me rubbing in, loads and loads of hours of rubbing down. I'm only going to do a quick wire brush on it, so. But I'll put the camera on here so you can just kind of get an overall view. Okay, that's not looking too bad. Just a bit of a token gesture to get any loose stuff out the way. I'll probably turn it over and do the other side. I'm glad I turned it over because it's a lot more heavily, not corroded, but it's quite rough on this underside, so I'll clean the underside and paint the underside. I can paint this part here, and I can get under there now, clean that ball out, the socket there. That's remnants of, well, I think that's remnants of running board rubber, but I'm not sure. How you doing for battery? Okay, you're on a red battery now, so I'll turn you off and I'll bring you back when there's some more to show. Can't read it. Snap-on Anniversary Edition. Pearl handles. Right, okay, 1.5" paintbrush. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that for a bit because it's very hot in here today and I've been at it a couple of hours. So that's the idea basically. I'll give it a coat of red oxide paint just to protect the inside of it. The outside will be okay anyway because it'll never kind of have any moisture trapped on it. But it looks okay, I think. But I've got to come in here. Got to come in this area here, and you know, get a wire brush in there or something, and then paint in there. Same the other side. And I've got to clean up the inside of the horn area there. Paint that and there. I was going to paint the top on here, but I think I might put some masking tape on so I don't paint down the side. That's why I've just stopped. I've also got very dirty as well. Okay, good little bit of progress there. It's very hot here today, so I'm going to have a break now. Thanks for watching then, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye! Hello, I'm here at Richard's again. Here's Richard, the proud owner. I'm just come down to check his progress on the truck, because I like to make sure he's cracking on with it. Anyway, look, there's the new shock studs in place, and he's cleaned up the shocks that were on it and put those back on. And I'll just lean over the side to show the lower bits as well. And he said that they went in okay. What did you do? Just sand them a bit or what? Yeah, you just put them in a drill and rubbed a file on them, and they tapped in quite nicely. So there's the lower shock mounts. So it was a nice little job there. He's bought some nuts. You can get these UNF nuts here in the UK. You just have to buy them off eBay. And what else can we show? Look, there's some new tyres gone on. 235/75 15s. And you can see new drums as well. They came from Rock Auto. Rock Auto is a good supplier for us in the UK because you can buy stuff and you can pay all the you more or less pay all the duty and tax and everything up front, and it just arrives at your door with no extra charges. You know, it's expensive by the time you tot it all up, but it's the best way really. New brake pipes, look. Let's put the steering column back in, and he's hooked up the drag link, and the pitman arm is all hooked up under there. And these are the new springs that came from Dougie up in Scotland. So it's really taking shape very well. Front shocks, they come from Rock Auto. And he's put some, sprayed a bit of lacquer on the body just to protect it. Got the hood on, fenders on. And he was just telling me that he's replaced the windscreen there, the windshield. And now he's looking at the side glass. And I'm going to take a measurement because I've got some of this channel here. I need to take that measurement round there and go and sort him out for some channel. So yeah, it's looking good. Good progress made. All those bits that I made are you know, being put to use. There's the pitman arm. Yeah, you can see why it's got that little crank in it to clear that bottom bolt. Yeah. Yeah, looking good, Rich. Looking good, mate. This is Richard's block, and it's quite badly cracked. I'll just come to look at it to see if it might be something might be worth trying to repair, but I think it's a bit too far gone. We're trying to get another block. I've got a mate that's got a block, but it's rather inaccessible at the moment, so we're kind of waiting for him to move some stuff so we can try and get that, because it's not easy to find this flathead. stuff in the UK, and when people have them, they want a small fortune for them, and there's nothing to say that they're any better. It's always, you know, you end up paying a lot for something, and it can be just as bad as this. Never any guarantee. There's not enough of them around to have lots and lots of choices. Okay, I just wanted to capture that. Okay, back in a bit. There we are, nice shot from the front with the new windshield in there, new windscreen, and the hood on and the fenders on. New tyres, looking good. What I just wanted to just catch was when Richard put the clear coat on it, clear lacquer, you can make out the remnants of a, well, the imprint left from an STP sticker there, look. I'll kind of go from different angles, so you can see it in real life. I don't know if it'll show up on the camera, but I thought that was pretty neat, really. See what, it's gone really windy here. But I'll also just show you that you can see that inside the bed, what Richard reckons is that the original colour was black. You can see black paint around the inside of the bed. So I don't know how many paint jobs ago that was, but it's got yellow and green as well, a bit of everything else. There we are, there's the overall shot. Looking good. Thanks a lot then. Bye. Okay, it's the morning after, and I came out last night and I masked off along the side of the rail there and painted that top piece. I also cleaned out down there and did my best to put some paint down there as well, and the same on the other side over there. So that's all looking pretty good, to be honest. I also cleaned up inside there and inside there and put a coat of paint on them. I gave the sides of the frame a wipe over with some acetone, and it's got the dirt off, and it's also kind of softened the paint a little bit. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but as I wipe down here, it don't look too bad, to be honest. It's not, you know, red rust. It's just a kind of, that's the kind of look I want, to be honest. And I don't know what to do about this piece here yet. I might just paint it. This side's a little bit more dry. I might actually wipe it over with 50-50 acetone ATF. This tape isn't very good, look. So that's what I was thinking of doing now, is to give it a coat of black. But I don't think it looks too bad, to be honest. So I thought I'd just show you that, and then I'll show you what it looks like with the black on it. Coat of black paint. Oh yeah, look, still got to clean up that crossmember. Okay, back in a little bit. Right, I've decided not to film the actual processes because everybody's seen people painting with a brush, and even though I speed all the footage up, it can, you know, it's just tedious, isn't it? So what I've done, I've finished painting it with the red oxide, and what I've done, I've just got the black paint there, and I'll give it a coat of that from this side up. It's not great paint. It kind of leaves little gaps, but you just have to go over and give it a second coat, and the second coat goes on really easily. I've masked up these sides, and I've actually just given this a second coat along there quite heavily, you know, just lashing it on. So I thought I could take the masking off, and I'll do the masking live, you know. I'll take the masking off now so you can see how it looks. Well, so I can see how it looks as well. Oh, it's got and missed a bit there, look. Okay. What's this like? Bloody Cold War motors? Not exactly, is it? Lifting the paint there, look. The 32 body comes down over the frame a little bit, so it won't be seen anyway. Oops. Well, that's not very good, is it? Look. That paint hasn't stuck to that. I'm not very pleased with that. That's crap, isn't it? See that? The paint ain't even stuck. Oh well. I think the red oxide paint's alright, but I don't think the black stuff's much good, really. Unless it was just because I just dashed that second coat on. Maybe I'll leave the other side till it dries. The body will come down over here a little bit. I've got to decide what to do with these areas that are repaired previously. I might just kind of darken them up a bit, or just leave them. So that's how it's looking anyway. I must say I'm not too pleased with that. That's not come out very well, to be honest. I'll see what it's like when it's dried properly. But anyway, it looks better than it did. Let's get this side off. What the heck? Make sure I pull the paper away from it. The masking tape fell off overnight, actually. I have to stick it back on. That's why I haven't got a really nicely, cleanly defined edge. You could hear there it wasn't actually stuck on particularly well. Okay, well, that's not too, but that looks a bit better, doesn't it? Okay, I'll let it dry a little bit, and I'll let it dry, flip it over, and paint it from the other side, and I can paint that face of the K-member in there easier from underneath than I can from on top. So I'll flip it over and do the other side once it's dried a little bit. I think that looks okay, and I'm going to do the bottoms of the rails in a similar way, but I will have to be more careful with the masking. Okay, back in a bit. Hello. I've just come out to shoot a little bit on my normal camera because I've been using my phone and it's not as good as this one. But what you can see here is that I've given the whole underside of the chassis, well, everything that I can reach from the underside, a second coat of, a coat of black, and a second coat of black along the inside of the frame rails and on the K-member there. And it's looking pretty good, I think. And I've painted the underside of the rails, first in the red primer and then in the black. and I've done my very best not to come over the edge, so when you're looking from above and looking down you won't see that. And I can always just wipe it off with a bit of thinners or something if need be. You can see here I've painted like, you know, more than 90% probably of the surface of this frame. The only bits that haven't been painted are the outside edges of the outer rails. So still quite a lot of work. Okay, so that's that for now. The next stage, I suppose, is to clean up that cross member there. Here's the front cross member. Now, I've done some repairs to this. I think I had to weld it down here somewhere. And I can see I've ground it here as well. Bear in mind, I did this years ago. So, and it's looking very kind of crusty. Not crusty falling apart, just, you know, surface rust all inside here. Looks like I welded that plate inside. So I'm going to clean this all up. I'm just going to clean it up completely and paint it. I'm not going to show me doing it because I can think you've got better things to do with your time. But I will show you what it looks like when it's done. Okay, back in a bit. Hello, I'm back out in the garage and I'm going to do a little job. I'm going to put the front cross member in the 32 frame. There's the cross member. I've cleaned it all up and here's the frame. The frame's upside down. So I've painted all the frame, but what I've just done is wipe the majority of the paint off in the areas where the cross member is going to go, and you can see that that's what I've done there, because I don't want lots of thicknesses of paint affecting the sort of strength of the joint. What I'm going to try are some of these bolts, which are coach bolts. And what I've just done with this one is put it in the lathe and skim the head down to a smaller diameter, which I think will look okay. Some of these holes are a bit sort of wallowed out because I think this cross member was bolted in for a long time, and then, you know, the bolts have worked. So that's why I thought I could use these and then kind of drive this, pull the square through, sort of broaching it in on its way through, hence taking up some of the slack in the holes. These are the worst ones actually, these two. The others aren't so bad. So I might need to kind of skim the squares down for the others. So I'm going to have to do some lathe work on this, on the screws. I'll skim all the heads to that diameter. I'll kind of selectively skim the squares to suit each individual location. I won't film everything. I might show one of the screws being modified, but I'll bring you back when there's more to show. As I'm sort of making this up as I go along, what I've thought I might do is, I know I've just wiped all the paint off, I'll actually put some wet paint on and set it into place with the wet paint so that wet paint can protect it, and it will kind of almost like stick it in place. And I've got some screws here that I want to use to kind of get it in place and kind of bolt it up quickly, and then I'll swap in the screws I intend to use. hammer. Okay, good. Actually, I think it's easier having it upside down. Using this tapered punch to line them up. You need to be able to rattle it around. If in doubt, rattle it about. Okay, so that's the idea then. There's the first, that's it roughed in, and that paint will dry now and kind of, in my mind, kind of almost like glue it in as well, you know, as the paint dries between the surfaces. But at least the paint's able to squeeze out the way. Right, let's just try this one then. I'll only show you the one. That'll go there like that. I've got a 10mm washer and an 8mm washer and an 8mm nut. I've gone 10mm because in case the square tries to pull through like that. It's not ideal, but I can't think how else to do it at the moment. Well, other than riveting, which I'm not really set up to do. Always the first time, I suppose, but I'll try it like this first. Okay. Obviously this will look okay from this side, but it won't look good from above. Right, what's the recommended torque for a 8mm nut? 5/16 nut. Feels alright actually. Okay. Oh, that feels alright and it don't look too bad, I think. I think that looks okay. Okay, I think that's alright. You've seen what I'm doing. I've mucked it up with these screws here, and I'm going to replace them with these ones. I've only done 2 at the moment, so I'm not ready to do it all. I've got to modify them all. I'll show you when the job's finished. Right, well I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in. So that's how the faux rivets look. So there's 8 more to do, and I've just turned 4 of them on the lathe. So those 4 I've just turned. So I'm going to just show you the operation. I won't be able to show you this and the dial, but I'll show you anyway. Right, ready? Loud noise. And what I'm doing, I'm just bringing this down until my dial reads 0. So I've set it to 0 on the others. That's 0. Then I'll go there and wind in till I've got a reading of 150. Then I take off the square until I just touch the corner. Then I come this side of it and take off some of the dome there. Well, I'll take off some of the corner. Okay, right, let's bit of left-handed filing. I'm not very dexterous left-handed. And that's it, 14 of them. Right, I've managed to get all of the faux rivets in. 2 at the bottom, 2 on the side, and 3 on the top. Both sides. I found the best way to do up the ones on the bottom. I got my this spanner and I bent it in the press so that it came up at an angle like this. Can you see that? Can you see that it just clears there? Okay. Thanks very much then. Another little job done. Thanks for popping in and keeping me company. Bye.